Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the NBA Better Off podcast. Welcome back to episode 3. My name is Devin. I'm your host, and along with me, there's my co-host, Celeste Ramirez, and our guest host for today, we have the CEO of Better Off, Alex Dubin. How's it going today, Alex?
What's going on, guys? Great day, great Friday, big NBA slate coming up. Lots to discuss. Super excited.
Yeah. All right, so we can just jump right into it. We're going to start off the podcast by talking about something big that just happened. Steph Curry just broke Ray Allen's record. Currently, he has 2,977 career three-pointers, and it only took him 789 games to beat Ray Allen's record, which is absolutely insane, and the record's just going to keep going up. I truly don't know if this will ever be beat for a very long time. What do you guys think?
I don't see anyone beating it. Well, actually, I don't know, because the NBA now, it's all about threes. So some of these younger guys could just come in and, start building up a resume. I also want to know how many games it took Ray Allen to reach his, but then
Ray Allen did it with Boston, so he was already at least 10 years into his career when that happened.
Yeah.
How many years has Steph been in the league? Like 7?
He's 33.
Probably 7 or 8, I would say.
But Ray Allen might be even longer because he was a Buck. He was a Sonic, right?
Well, if it took him 10 years, then it was definitely more than 789.
Yeah, and he and Gary Payton were traded for each other. But this actually, so let me answer the question. I think that a lot of times when a record is not just broken but shattered, everyone's like, we'll never see it again. And Steph Curry is definitely a generational talent and arguably the greatest three-point shooter of all time. I think you still have to talk about Pete Maravich, who didn't get to shoot from behind the three-point line because there wasn't any. You have to talk about Larry Bird, who took like Steph Curry is going to take more three-pointers over the course of 3 years than Larry Bird took in his entire career. And then I think you put him together with Ray Allen and like Reggie Miller. But Celeste is right. Analytics say fire up threes, fire them from the corner where it's closer. And, is Steph Curry going to be the last great shooter? No. But, you still put him on a different level from guys like Reggie Miller and, JJ Redick and Jason Capono and other three-point snipers that we've seen. But over the course of the rest of history, I got to imagine someone will do it at some point.
Oh, yeah. Someone will definitely do it at some point, but I just feel like it'll be a long time before that happens. But
this is a great, segue into the Better Off Steph Curry authentic jersey giveaway, which doesn't sound all that exciting until you realize,
signed.
My 5-year-old niece wrote on it. Nope. Steph Curry signed it. It's an authentic jersey. It's an authentic signature. Neither I nor anyone at Better Off is good enough to forge his signature. We're going to be doing a week-long pick giveaway. Check out our socials at Better Off on Twitter, at Better Off on Instagram. I'm sorry, at Better Off Sports on Twitter. Better Off on TikTok. And there will be details about how you do it, how you enter. It's free. It's awesome. It's an autographed jersey. We're going to give it away. So check that out.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely don't miss out on that, guys. And it's a perfect time right after the record's beaten. Why not give a jersey away?
And he did it at MSG, right? He did it at the Mecca, which if you're not going to do it at home, that's a pretty cool, right? So I think the cool places would have been at home. That obviously would have been the best in front of that fan base. I don't think doing it in Boston would have meant much because Ray Allen wasn't like a Boston icon.
Yeah.
Doing it in Indy because Reggie Miller was an Indy icon, but it wasn't breaking Reggie's record. So I'd say that the two big places would have been at home at Golden State, at MSG at the Mecca, and then maybe if you want to say Los Angeles because it's Los Angeles. But as far as cool places on the road to break that record, That was a pretty cool place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, MSG is one of the coolest places as it is, but
And of course, whenever anything happens good, it has to happen against the Knicks. So
yeah. You know it.
there it is. But let's talk about the highlight games of this coming weekend. Devin, your pick is Wizards Jazz. Why?
I personally didn't think there was any like really interesting games this weekend. Like there wasn't a big pool to choose from. I picked the Wizards Jazz as my highlight game of the weekend just because I think it'd be awesome if the Wizards could pull off an upset. I mean, the Jazz are so hot right now. I don't really think it's going to happen. But if it did happen, that would just be an incredible upset, and I would be very proud of myself for calling that. But yeah, the Wizards. If the Wizards pull off a win over the Jazz right now, this could be like this could mean a big streak for them. But we'll see how it works out. I don't really know how it's going to go for them. It'll probably be a big Jazz win, but an upset.
Well, so the Jazz are 7-point favorites and minus 300 on the money line.
Yep.
And I think they're at home, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in Utah, which is never easy for an East Coast team going west into the altitude. It's tough. What do the Wizards have to do to win this game?
I mean, if the
Jazz
Wizards
have to give it away, like does Jokic have to get like shot?
Jokic.
Jokic.
No, that's Denver.
I was very
altitude.
And not that we want anything to happen to Jokic, but yeah, what has to happen for the Wizards to win this game on the road?
I mean, obviously they got to slow down Donovan Mitchell. It doesn't really seem like anyone's been able to do that recently. I really think if they're going to win the game, they're going to have to figure out how to contain him. And Bradley Beal's probably going to have to go off if they want to win. Those are the two things that I think they could do to win. But I still think it's going to be very tough for them to pull it off.
Okay. And then Celeste, your game of the weekend is Cavaliers versus Bucks. Two humongous market teams, right? Like, where would you rather be than Milwaukee and Cleveland? What are your thoughts on this one?
I say Cavs. They've just been on a run lately. I know the Bucks right now are higher in the conference, but I just think the Cavs have something good going. And the Bucks, I was mentioning to Devin earlier, like they've lost to the Spurs, which isn't a good sign really for a franchise at this moment. So that's why I pick the Cavs.
Spurs homer taking a shot. Okay. But yeah, those are it's not the Christmas Day slate, but still good games.
Jumping back to that Wizards Jazz game, I forgot to mention Spencer Dinwiddie's out, so getting a win without him would also just be unbelievable. I feel like that has a lot to do with it.
True. All right, let's look back at last week. Celeste, player of the week. Who you got?
I've got Austin Reeves, the white boy who made the 3-pointer game winner in overtime to beat the Mavs. Why that face?
To do that? Wait, are you allowed to talk about people now? Are we allowed to recognize people by race? Can we get woke patrol? Is there a woke? Do we have a woke meter about whether that's okay?
I am a woman of color, so I think I get a pass.
That's true.
Austin Reeves, okay. Who, in addition to being white, did other stuff, right?
Yeah, it's not his identity.
Fair enough. And then Devin, oh my God, it's a whitewash. Devin, who's your player of the week?
We got another white boy you can shoot. I picked Gordon Hayward. He eviscerated Celeste Spurs, to say the least. He had 41 points, which was absolutely nuts. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the Hornets are going to keep playing coming off of this game. That's why I picked for my lock bet of the weekend. We could just jump right into that.
Let's get into that. So, Devin, your lock bet for this weekend.
Yeah, so my lock bet going off of Gordon Hayward, I actually picked the Hornets plus 118 money line to beat the Trailblazers. I mean, like I said, they're coming off Gordon Hayward's 41-point game. I can't really imagine that they really slow down after that. I feel like they might just pick up some speed. I mean, but we'll see how it turns out. It's the Trailblazers, so you can't really say something. You can't say anything specifically on what's going to happen for the game, but I mean, I could realistically see the Hornets pulling off a win over the Blazers.
I mean, that's a ballsy. That's not like an opportunity bet. Your lock bet is a road underdog
Yep.
going to whatever the heck Portland's place is called. I'm still calling it the Rose Garden, and playing. Yeah, the Blazers are 11-18, but they're 11-18 with C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard. Like either one of those guys at any time can go off and just end a game. So that's a ballsy plus 118 money line.
It's definitely not an easy bet, but I didn't want to pick like a super easy one like minus 500 or something like that. I thought plus 118 money line would be like the best value. So yeah, I mean, I'm personally going to throw a bet on that because I really trust that the Hornets can pull off a win. But I know it's CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard. It's always hard to tell.
And you can check just how confident Devin is in that Hornets plus 118 on the BettorOff app, available on Google Play and the iOS App Store. You can follow him, you can check him, and then if he doesn't do what he says he's going to do, you can, TP his house or something.
Yeah.
That's how this stuff works.
Egg my house, TP my house, either
Yeah.
way.
Celeste, what about your, wow, these are locks. We're going to go with plus money opportunities. That's what these actually are. Celeste, let's go. Show me that you're not a homer.
Okay, mine is plus 500 money line for the Spurs over the Jazz. But listen, I think that
I'm not a homer thing straight out the window.
I think that they could win this one. I was also mentioning this earlier because they've beat weird teams this season. They beat the Warriors at home. They beat the Bucks also at their home. I just feel like the Jazz are not. Yeah, the Jazz. Sorry. Now I feel thrown off by earlier when you confused the Nuggets.
That Jokic is on the Jazz.
Yeah. Really, but they did win one against the Nuggets, and they lost at home, and then they lost to the Hornets. They're an up and down team, but they're the type of team to pull something like this off.
Does Demar Derozan have to literally score 50 for this to happen?
Demar doesn't play for the Spurs anymore.
Wait, when did Demar Derozan leave the Spurs?
I literally tweeted it from the BettorOff account when it happened.
Oh, man.
He left this past off season.
Where is he now?
He's on the Bulls.
Zach LaVine.
That doesn't even count. All right, fine. This is the
Mark would have to come back and score.
All right, so who has to score 50? Is it David Robinson or is it Tim Duncan? Let's go.
No, I think DeJounte's been awesome. DeJounte Murray. And then
okay, does he have to does there have to be like a Kobe-esque performance?
Okay, this
for the Spurs to win this.
This is the team that we're working with right now. DeJounte's been getting triple doubles like pretty consistently. So it's DeJounte doing what he's been doing. It's Keldon playing well, Jakob defending and scoring in the paint. And really then we have Doug McDermott, who's been like a pretty solid 3-point shooter. So if he has like his thing going, they're a pieces group. Like there's not one. We don't have like a Donovan Mitchell who's gonna score like 50. It's like everyone has to do their.
The whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
Yeah.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We got Warriors-Celtics game. The Warriors are minus 145. Celtics plus 125 with an over-under of 213.5. I happen to think that they're going to shatter that over-under. But who do we like in this game, Celeste?
I've got the Warriors. Maybe I'm just talking about Steph just breaking his record, but the Celtics haven't been impressing me lately, and the Warriors are just so good. So I picked the Warriors for this one.
Devin?
Yeah. So I forgot to mention prior. These are the two highlight NBA ESPN games. First one's at 7:40. Second one's at 10. I personally think that the Warriors, like we said, are just gonna destroy the Celtics. Like I don't even think it's going to be a close game. The Celtics rely too much on Jason Tatum, and that's just kind of their downfall. Because
So you like, even at minus 145, do you guys think that the Warriors by themselves will be able to juice a 214 point over under? Or are they, I mean, because they're not a great defensive team. Even when they smoke people, they're not this isn't the Heat, right? They're not holding anyone under 90 points or really much under 100 points. And you got to assume that they're going to score 115 or more. The 213.5 just seems low to me. Celeste?
It does.
I don't know. I just, the Warriors have just been, I get what you're saying, but I think it's possible. Devin, what do you think?
I mean, it's really it's hard to tell because one part of me thinks that this is just going to be like it might be a worse loss than the other week where it was just like the worst NBA loss of all time. But another part of me thinks that this could be like at what Alex said, no defense, and it goes over 213.5. But I'm gonna stick with that. It'll go over. I just think the Warriors are gonna win by at least 10, at least.
And this is in Boston for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
And as a New Yorker, I like seeing the Celtics get just wiped. And who likes to bet the under? Like I went to the University of Virginia, so anytime that I bet the under, it's UVA, and because it's all defense. But in the NBA, where no one plays defense and you can take 9 steps on the way to the basket, like, how are you going to bet the under?
Just want to mention, go Dukes. JMU beat UVA. So I'm gonna say that.
It's a fair point. That is a fair point. And of course, we also know that JMU is only 3 years removed from winning a national championship in basketball.
Right. Or no, football.
Oh, no, wait. That wasn't JMU. Who was that? Oh, that's right. That was UVA.
Yeah.
Won a national championship on my birthday.
Yeah, we won a national championship in football. We're not a basketball school.
Fair.
Who? JMU? Oh, yeah. You won okay. All right. Props to JMU. Props. All right. Let's move on to the Lakers Timberwolves, because the more we talk about UVA basketball, the more everyone's going to recognize that we're not good anymore.
Yeah.
The Lakers are plus 112 against the T-Wolves, minus 132 with an over-under of 222. To me, this feels like an injury game. Who from the Lakers is going to be playing?
That's a great question. And I will answer that in 1 second.
I mean, if LeBron James is playing, do you ever not want to take plus money?
Yeah, I feel like LeBron should be playing. The only thing that's been throwing things off too lately is the COVID protocols, because even the vaccinated players have been kind of.
I didn't know. So Russ isn't playing. Avery Bradley's not playing. Dwight Howard's not playing, and then AD and LeBron are DTD day to day.
Oh.
So if LeBron and AD are playing, that's the Lakers all day, just because they're getting plus money.
Yeah. Definitely.
Celeste, what are your thoughts?
I mean, when you said Westbrook wasn't playing, that didn't factor into my And yeah, I'm the same. Like LeBron, I'm gonna go all the way. If he's in it, then we should be good to go. That's the thing that's so frustrating about this group, is they're kind of like, they're like, oh, some of us are injured and stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, but you have this team of so many like amazing players that you can afford to have like half of them out, not half of them, but a good majority. And like, you still have a good person in the, like, I don't know, in the next spot. So that's
I think we can all agree that Austin Reeves is going to be the MVP.
Yeah.
So
if he's playing, then they're good.
Whew.
I'm gonna do it.
Cool. Well, I think we've gotten through it, right? I mean, once again.
Yeah, I just had to give my pick, Alex, but it's all good.
Yeah, Devin hasn't given his pick.
All right. Well, I personally picked the Lakers, but now that I'm realizing that Avery Bradley and Dwight Howard are hurt. I don't really know how it's going to turn out, but I mean, they're coming off a big OT win against the Mavs, so I could totally see them keeping it going. But yeah, that's my pick. Sorry.
Did you see the article about how much Luka hated Rick Carlisle?
No, I didn't see that.
That was messed up. They were just, Luka did not like Rick Carlisle. I thought Rick Carlisle was one of those guys that everyone liked, but apparently not.
Luka's he seems kind of mean.
I was gonna say, I wonder if he's like bratty.
Yeah.
He needs to cut out the Texas barbecue and the Krispy Kreme.
I agree.
Right? Anyway, fat shaming Luka Doncic. Great way to close the podcast. Devin, why don't you do the part where it finishes?
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. Well, that's everything we have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And make sure, if you guys have any recommendations, please let us know. We will make sure to get those in the show. And do not miss out on the Steph Curry jersey giveaway. And lastly, do not forget to download BettorOff so you can become a better. It is available on the Google Play Store and the iOS Store. This has been episode 3. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.